Warning: the current username on my channel is false due to an individual hacking my YouTube channel, and this issue may not be resolved until the next couple of months. It is very important that all of my viewers, no matter who you are, read this before watching this video. Thank you, and enjoy the video. It Chapter 2 is the sequel to the 2017 adaptation from the Stephen King novel. And that's a film I really love. It's probably one of the best modern horror films, I'd say. It Chapter 1 is a really great film. It's not really a perfect film. I guess I could say it's near perfect. The really only problem I really had with that film was sometimes the humor wasn't necessarily, I didn't feel it was balanced, or some of it was unnecessary a bit. But other than that, I really thought It was technically a masterpiece, if not near a masterpiece. So I was very curious and quite excited to walk into It Chapter 2. And this was one of my most anticipated films of 2019. And in this film, the story revolves around Michael, and he, after 27 years from the recent events that occurred from the Losers Club defeating It, Michael is the only person in the Losers Club that still lives in Derry and tries to get the entire Losers Club back together to defeat It once and for all, because It has come back once again. I gotta be completely honest when I say this. There are a lot of things to like about this movie. I really dug this movie. This movie was a blast. This is no by means, I wouldn't necessarily say this is a great movie. It is near a great movie, but there are so many things to like about this movie. The cast. Let's talk about the cast in this movie. They are phenomenal. And honestly, I really do think they do the kid actors in the original Chapter 1 It justice. They really do. They capture the adult actors in this film really capture the characters, and they honestly work so well in this film that I actually cared about the Losers Club. Other than that, I thought the atmosphere was really good in this film. The atmosphere was really well handled. The scares were okay. They're not as good as the scares that were in the first It Chapter 1. The scares are promising though. You can actually not really have a problem with the scares in this movie, because these scares are actually accurate scares. So that was a pass for me, honestly. Once again, Bill Skarsgård absolutely kills the role as Pennywise. At this point, Bill Skarsgård is possibly the definitive Pennywise. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Tim Curry, but Bill Skarsgård has gotten to a point where he just owns this character now. He is stupid creepy as Pennywise in this film. Stupid creepy. And he works really well as Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård is excellent. Still, this is not a great movie though, and I have a few problems with this movie, and the majority of my problems really have to do with the pacing of the movie. Considering that this movie is technically nearly a 3-hour runtime, I've kind of found the pacing to be a little weak or even lazy at times. This 50% of this movie is flashbacks of the Losers Clubs. 50% of this movie shows flashbacks of their childhood. Some of them were worth watching, but I honestly felt like there was too much of it, and it was literally just added to keep the running time going. And I honestly thought that was lazy. I honestly felt like this film could have been shorter by at least 20 minutes. There were a few scenes that dragged here and there, and a few elements of the film that just felt really silly. Well, many elements in the film that I guess felt really silly, but some of them worked, some of them didn't. It was honestly a hit or miss. For me though, most of them did work, and I think that has to do with the story. The story is well handled. You can easily connect with it, and you know what's going on as the film progresses. The characters are amazing in this film. The acting is fantastic. The problem is the way the film is paced, and the direction it tries to go for. I'm not necessarily saying the direction is bad. It's just the way the film moves and gets further into the film. So I'm not really faulting on the direction. I'm just faulting on the fact that certain things that were in this film led up to other things. And this film knows what it is. It knows exactly what it was trying to go for. I just thought that there wasn't that much potential as the film kept progressing, and there were some things that were missing. I wouldn't even say those are major flaws, though, because like I said, this movie is very entertaining. It is so fun to watch. Not as good as the first It. I'm going to be completely honest. This is not as good as the first It, but there are a lot of memorable scenes in this film. I would have loved the scares in this film to be a little more creative, though. I'm not saying they were weak. I'm just saying that I don't think they really got to me, really. I mean, some of the scares, just look at the scares in the first It. Those scares were really set up well and brutal and dark. These scares in It Chapter 2, they're dark. A few of them are brutal. I just didn't think they had that much potential, which isn't necessarily a flaw. It's literally just a nitpick. It's not even a big flaw to say that I felt that the scares weren't even that interesting in this film. I mean, they had me going, but they just don't have that much potential. I will say this, though. The opening and the ending of the movie was very powerful. Without spoiling anything, I might have had a big tearjerker at the ending of the movie. I cried. That's all I'm gonna say. But the beginning of the movie was really well done too. It was brutal, it was dark, it was very, very messed up. And it gives you an idea on what you're about to experience from the get-go. I have to talk about the actors in this film one by one because they did a really phenomenal job. Jessica Chastain, really awesome in this film. She was really great. Loved her. And when I watched the performances in this film, especially from Jessica, she actually was into the character. I felt like she was Beverly. And that's due to the performances and the way the actors portray these characters. They work so well in this film. But Jessica really did a phenomenal job in this film. James McAvoy was really good in this film, along with Bill Hader, Isaiah Mustafa, who I thought was honestly the best actor in this film. Really did a phenomenal job, and I would love to see this actor appear in more movies. Jay Ryan and James Ransone also really did a fantastic job in this film. The actors are amazing, and because I actually did care about these characters and their chemistry, considering that they're the Losers Club from Chapter 1, my many nitpicks that I mentioned in this movie didn't really bother me. So the characterization and the chemistry and the fantastic performances in this film, this was honestly a big plus for me. I had to give this all that a big plus for this movie. Aside from the nitpicks and some of the flaws that I mentioned that I had with this film, I do gotta be completely honest when I say this. I do have one more flaw with this movie, and it's aside from the pacing. It has something to do, and it's similar to the pacing that I already mentioned. The pacing in this film just makes it feel like the film is trying to drag itself on purposely, like I already mentioned. But my other flaw with this film is that I think this film should not have been nearly 3 hours long. This movie is honestly a tad over long. This movie is long. To me, it didn't feel like 3 hours, but other people are going to walk in this film and be like, oh my god, there's an hour left in this movie? Some people will be like that because I have a suspicious feeling that some people might find this film boring at times. Because there are times in this film where Pennywise doesn't even come on screen that much. which wasn't a flaw for me because I was really interested into the characters mostly. And I was satisfied enough with the scares. But seriously, this movie could have been 20 minutes short. 20 minutes shorter than what it actually is. And also, let me get this out of the way. If you are a die-hard It fan, like if you love the 2017 It so much that you're literally craving to see Chapter 2, I'm pretty sure you will dig this movie. I'm pretty sure you'll love this movie. But if you didn't necessarily like or even love, like maybe if you even hated the miniseries of It, not the 2017 one, if you hated the miniseries of It, there's a chance you might have a hard time watching Chapter 2 because there are some elements from the miniseries in this film. But I'm going to be completely honest when I say this. I think It Chapter 2 is better than the miniseries. I'm going to be honest when I say this. The miniseries doesn't hold up that well, but I still kind of consider it a classic. At least. I did like this film a little better, though. Seriously, though, at the end of the day, I was satisfied. I was excited walking into this film, and at the end of the day, I was absolutely satisfied. And this movie was honestly a blast. I really cannot wait to check this movie out again sometime. I'm going to give It Chapter 2 a B+. Not as good as the first It, not a masterpiece. But seriously, if you want to see this movie, go see it, because I think you might have a fun time, depending on what kind of person you are. Because I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of people will not like this movie, because it is very long. And there are some audience members that may complain about nothing really happening. But seriously, I was satisfied with this film, and I can't wait to watch this film again, and I can't wait for you guys to watch this. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching this review. You guys are the best. Love every single one of you. Look forward to more reviews that'll be coming very soon, by the way. And as always, if you're new here and you like what you see here, why not hit that subscribe button to join the EliB/520 community, and I will see you next time. Peace out.